Well, let's do the translation. So the next stage, we are going to translate this into the mathematics equations. Let me get another page. Well, look, we assume the t progress to t plus 1 to see how you get the first thing is the new larvae. Larvae stand for L at t plus 1. The new larvae only get from the birth rate. And this time is relatively easy because we only have one transition stand for the reproduction. So it's going to be proportional to the female adult at the time t, and each female have 3, 5, 3, 15, 35,315 eggs, the female eggs. That's the first equation. And the second equation, we count in the next month and how many juvenile we're going to have. Well, then you read this way. You look at the income transitions. You got 2 income transitions, then you need to add 2 multiplications. And the first group is the survivor of the juvenile. And then we got the survival rate about 0.777, I think. And the next, we got those survivor from the larvae to the juvenile. That's a very small number, 0.3. And then multiply the larva population at the time t. This is how many juvenile population in the next month. Similarly, let's consider the population of adult and t plus 1. So look at diagram again. The adult have 1 income transition, 2 income transition. You just need to multiply those numbers. So it will be the survivor of the adult last month. This will be almost 95%. Add the juvenile matured to adult, and that will be 0.071. Those are all algebraic equations. Well, today I used a slightly different notation. Instead of calling it x1, x2, x3, I remember last time it's a little bit confusing those age with the time t, which is time. This time we're going to get the stage. L, J, K, A stand for larvae, juvenile, and adult. So that's less confusing notation. Well, the next one, what do we do? We're going to translate this further into the matrix representation. Well, let me write the matrix. Now, you always put the structure first, because this vector will be 3 by 1, easy to fill in. This will be xl t plus 1, xl j t plus 1, and xa t plus 1. A good way to do this is call it vector. But it's t plus 1. Well, then this one will be xlt, xjt, xat. Well, then you fill those numbers. You look at all this L, J, A. Then this is going to be this number here. Oops. $35, $315. You don't have the other two terms, just fill into 0. So if you look the first row, you check this row dot this column. It's going to be 35, 315 XL, and this is XL. That match, and there's nothing else. 0 times this is 0, 0, 0 times this is 0. And that's how we translate. Well, here, the second one, we need to put this first. Because this is XL, it's going to be 0.00003. And J, that's 0.777. There's no A, that's 0. So the last one, you need to put a 0 first, because there's no 0 XL. You can put it that way. And then the next one is going to be 0.071 and 0.949. It's a little bit messy, but you can see the matrix. Wait a moment, I made the wrong, I'm sorry. That's wrong. That's XA, because you look at the model, only the adult will make the larva. It's not the larva. So the population multiply here is the female adult population. That's XA. So in my model, I apologize, made a mistake. That's A. So that one need to change. We need to change this into 0, 0, and here the 3, 15, 3. It's the last element. Now let's check. 0 times XL, that's you fill it in, it's like this. And then the last one is the one count. This times this is this line. I made the mistake. All right, we recover from the mistake. We got this matrix, which is called Lefkowitz matrix. There's a little bit of difference from the Lesson matrix. If you remember the Lesson matrix, it has one line here, not a 0, and one line here is not a 0. On the diagonal, they're all 0. And the Lesson matrix in here must be 0. But the Lefkowitz matrix is not a 0 on the diagonal. Well, that fact is reflected on these two self-transition. The initial state and the terminal state is the same state. Because when you talk about the aged structure, you got to transition after one birthday. But when you talk about a stage, you know, I'm an adult. After 40 years, I'm still, 30 years, still an adult. Maybe next stage count as a senior. So not always have to transition to the other state. That's the difference. It's a different phenomenon, and then you get a different model.